Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. Welcome back. Matt here from myrawintuition.com. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Hope you've had a good weekend so far. I am really looking forward to today's live. We're going to be meeting with Dr. Benjamin Benulis. He is a chiropractor in Arizona, and I have just really been inspired by his content, especially as of late. He's a raw vegan. He's healed himself from autoimmune issues, and lately he has been really speaking out about personal freedoms, personal sovereignty, medical freedom, and things like that. So I am looking forward to having him share his story with you guys. All right, I see Dr. Ben has joined, so let's get him on. Here we go. There he is. Hey, Dr. Ben, how are you?
All right. Excellent, man. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I've been loving what you've been putting out lately, so really pumped to talk to you about kind of what you got going on. And I just want to kind of give people an idea of kind of where you've come from, your background, your health, recovery, and then maybe talk about a little bit. We'll get into some of what you're seeing as far as medical freedoms and kind of the activism that you're doing on that front, and hopefully inspire people out there to, really take charge of their health and not, let fear drive them in a direction they don't want to go.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah.
I guess first let's go over your health history and kind of how you overcame autoimmune issues.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So about 11 years ago, coming up on 12 years ago, came down with basically a bunch of symptoms that I didn't realize were, all like the same thing. But I was just pretty much a normal guy working a normal office job in my late 20s, and started coming down with really bad digestive issues, really bad skin issues, really bad fatigue issues, really bad chronic pain issues that were, I was not overweight or anything, and was pretty much, it hit me out of nowhere. I was, living the standard American lifestyle and starting to get the standard American results.
Yeah.
And so kind of, was not hip to any of this health stuff, and just started going to, seeing my doctor because I had health insurance, and they go, oh, okay. Oh, you got skin issues? Let's send you to the dermatologist. Oh, you got stomach issues? Let's send you to the gastroenterologist. You got chronic pain issues? We're going to send you to the rheumatologist. And it was like I was going and seeing a bunch of different specialists, and each one of them is like working me up and checking my blood work and saying, oh, you know what? Everything looks fine. There's nothing wrong with you. And kind of went through this whole kind of dog and pony show for about 6-7 months of just like, well, I guess I got to go to this doctor now. They referred me to this one, and everything's coming out Millhouse. Like, they have no answers for me. And so eventually I just I get frustrated with it because my health just continued to decline, like really bad, like chronic fatigue to the point where, I would just sleep all weekend, and I would sustain myself with energy drinks during the work week. And, I was taking just tons of Pepto-Bismol and all kinds of over-the-counter stuff, and my stomach always hurting, and it was just kind of a mess. And eventually I was just like, okay, I'm getting nowhere doing this, and I got to figure this out. And I really did not have any sense of what I was doing, but just started massively self-educating, massively self-experimenting, and that's where I kind of eventually backdoored into fruits and vegetables and smoothies and raw foods. But it was kind of a circuitous path. I really didn't know. I had no intention of any of this stuff, but it just sort of I just kept trying stuff till I found something that could work.
Yeah.
And so what was pretty crazy was I was really just wanting to eat food that wouldn't hurt my digestion. And then when I really got things dialed in, it was all my other issues started disappearing, that I kind of just chalked up to I was old at 28 or whatever. And so that's when and then I started, just kept improving, right? Like it was like, okay, chronic pain went away, skin cleared up, digestive issues went away, more, fatigue went away, but also like, whoa, I have more energy than I did before. Like, and it just kept going up, and there didn't seem to be like an upper limit. Like I experienced this kind of new life that I had not bargained for, but I definitely welcomed. Right. And that got me more and more excited about it. And, got me, evangelical. Of course, none of my friends or family wanted to hear about it. Even though, like, to me, it was like I was feeling fantastic. And so that just led to health became my hobby, and then eventually it became my profession because I was just so passionate about it.
Wow. So cool. So, what kind of foods are you eating today then? Like, what does a kind of a typical day look like for you?
So I eat primarily raw foods. And so it's usually like first 2 meals of the day are just fruit. So I usually do some kind of high water fruit for breakfast. I got Chiropractic oranges right now, which are like, so, and then like you got to get them from like an actual grower. You can't get them at the grocery store. They're not going to be any good. But if you can get like, if you live in a region where citrus can grow and you can find Chiropractic, they're super bomb. Some kind of high water fruit for breakfast, usually a big 64-ounce full Vitamix with a banana smoothie with some greens in it for lunch, and then usually a raw salad, and then sometimes I'll throw in like some basic cooked plants, squash, like split peas, rice, something simple. Yeah. But yeah, whole plant foods for sure, and like probably 80-90% raw, depending on the mood I'm in.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, we're pretty similar in that aspect. So, what is it about chiropractics that you were attracted to? Because I've noticed, especially over the last couple of years, there's something about chiropractors. It's I don't know what it is that allows them to use critical thinking, especially in times like this, but. I have you noticed other aspects of the medical establishment don't necessarily have that that ability, and is that what drew you to chiropractics, or?
Well, it's an interesting discussion, and you bring up a few questions. I'll try to answer both of them. But honestly, like when I went through my whole health thing, I was living in Texas, and naturopaths aren't licensed. I think like if I had found a naturopath, it would have accelerated things, right? And I don't know if I would have done what I'm doing now, which I'm kind of happy I am.
Yeah.
So when I went back to school, I was like, well, we want to be a naturopath, but they're not licensed in Texas, so I better figure something else out. And I was just sort of studying, and I considered medicine as well. Like I was like, do I really want to do this? And it was just like, I'm going to learn, like, devote all this time, learn drugs and surgery just to not do it and to be honestly adamantly opposed to it. So it just didn't seem like a really good investment of my time. And when I studied chiropractic more and what it was about, the fundamental principles, which not all chiropractors abide by or live up to these days, unfortunately, were very much in line. That essentially the body heals itself, the power that made the body heals the body. The job of the doctor is not to like add anything to the equation or subtract anything to the equation. It's simply to remove the interference of the body healing itself. And so it's like when we shift our diet to we remove the processed foods, the oils, the animal products, the dairy, the cheese, the eggs, the like vegetable oils, just all the crap that is basically the standard American diet that was impeding our health the whole time, and we replace it with fresh fruits and vegetables, things that grow out of the ground and off of a tree, well then magically the body heals itself. Like mangoes didn't heal me. I don't know what your health journey is, but like it's like the food doesn't necessarily heal people. It just provides the body the optimum conditions to do that. And that was something that, it's like you can study that in a book all day long, but until you experience it yourself and actually watch your body heal from things that doctors told you, you'll have this rest of your life and there's no medication, there's no cure, blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, I just like ate mangoes and bananas and celery. and it went away, and like you like feel and notice the changes in your body, then you understand that at a visceral level.
Right.
And so when that was the philosophy of chiropractic, remove the interference, let the innate intelligence of the body, the wisdom that is beyond what we understand, whether you want to call it created by God or created by 3.5 billion years of evolution, either way, you're dealing with a lot more intelligence than we have, like we can access here.
Yeah.
And so that resonated with me. And so the chiropractors who are truly principled, maybe not all of them are vegans or even eat healthy or live a healthy lifestyle, but they at least fundamentally understand that the human body is powerful and it has the ability to heal itself, and it has the ability to stay well as long as you provide it the right conditions. And the problem is, and so it's like, I don't heal anybody. Like that's one thing that like a lot of people fail to understand. It's like I help a lot of people heal themselves, but I am not responsible for healing anybody other than myself, which I think I did a pretty darn good job on it. So I'm happy to teach other people. Medicine has this completely different philosophy. Okay. Like the philosophy of chiropractic is the body is self-organizing, self-healing, self-regulating. Just remove the interference, provide the right conditions to do so. Medicine says the human body is frail. All these people out there, you have to save them. They're weak. They're going to fall apart. Unless you're cutting body parts out and shooting them up with drugs and shoving pills down their face, like they're going to get sick and they're going to die. And your job is you have to save them, right? And so it's like every time there's a medical intervention, they like think they're doing a good thing. I mean, it's gotten to the point where, they believe that like pregnancy is a disease that they have to treat. And like childbirth is like a medical problem that they have to solve.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's just life happening. Like you're supposed to like let the process happen, and yet they want to like, yank them out with this thing and shoot the mom up with epidurals, and like it's so the philosophical framework is so perverse that like there's no way they're gonna find the answer, because the lens that they're looking at it is like just so disempowering for people. And so it's like their mentality is like the more interventions they can do, the better off you are. And so the really smart ones know that like actually the less interventions that they do and the less medications people are on, the better. But the problem is that like that doesn't make them any money. So most of them, even if they can kind of intuit that a little bit, they stay away from it. And they don't want to admit that basically their job is completely obsolete, or at least it will be in the coming years. I mean, as they continue to just like slather us with interventions. Oh, you need a mask. You need 2 masks. You need 2 jabs. No, you need 3. No, maybe a 4th one would be good. Oh, there's another variant. Let's do 5. Oh, we gotta, it's just like, and this is really waking people up, because it's the problems that they've had of like more and more intervention. Let's invent more drugs, drug people more and more. It's like we're seeing this in like fast forward mode, where it's just like, and so now people are waking up because they're going, wow, they're just really just trying to drug the hell out of us. And while these pharmaceutical companies and tech, billionaires rake in the cash, like this, this doesn't make sense. So I think, we're seeing a resurgence of critical thought. But I think that it's like everybody has the ability to critically think, but, a lot of people are brainwashed, right? Are doctors smart? Of course they are. But when their fundamental philosophical framework is that, like, the human body is basically, like a piece of shit, and it's their job to fix it, like, of course they're going to, roll with what's going on right now. And chiropractors have the opposite idea. Like, the human body is sacred, it's powerful, it's capable of all these things. We just got to empower it. And so that's why you're seeing this dichotomy of like, who's running with the narrative and who's not. So long and winded answer your question. I hope that was sufficient. I feel like I could keep going, but I'll end it there.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's so the dichotomy between the two. It's like one emphasizes simplicity and just allowing nature to do its thing, and the other, is complex. They use Latin to make it confusing. They use all these big words, and they try to make you feel like you need them in order to survive this like planet that's trying to destroy you. When, I mean, you look around and you know, we're the only species that's running with our, you know, acting like the world's out to get us. Every other creature on the planet's in line with nature and just having a good time, you know, for the most part. Then we you know, we kind of get stuck in this complexity mindset, and we try and overcomplicate things, and yeah, that typically ends up getting us into trouble. So I'm curious. So would you say there's pretty much a blueprint? I know you have your autoimmunity blueprint for recovering from autoimmune. You know, if somebody were, you know, regardless of what somebody was dealing with, do you think that blueprint could help them, you know, regardless of the state that their body's in?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for 999 out of 1,000 people, like eating more fruits and vegetables can be a good thing. So yeah, is it going to solve everybody's health problem for everything? No, but you know, it definitely couldn't hurt anyone. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I would encourage everybody to go check out Dr. Ben's page and go to the, he's got it linked in his bio there. You can check that out. So what are your kind of thoughts about, you know, kind of where we're heading? Are you optimistic? Are you, you know, more concerned as far as our personal freedoms and that sort of stuff?
Good question. I definitely have days when I'm discouraged and days when I'm really encouraged.
Yeah.
I think that modern medicine is doing a really good job of like basically tripping over itself and just doing such a poor job that more and more people are waking up to the fact that it's not only a giant you know, smoke and mirrors now, but it's always been, you know, at least since the advent of you know, modern pharmaceuticals. So that's what I'm not too concerned about. Like, I think that it's actually been great advertising for people like you and me. Like my businesses are like doing better than they ever have been. You know, it's like just for me speaking up and just like my health message resonates more than it ever has. Mm-hmm. I feel like, you know, 7-8 years ago when I was talking about this stuff, it was like people just, you know, totally thought I was nuts. And now it's like, you know, I'm in the natural food store and I get, oh, hey, there's Dr. Ben. It's like, the weekend, leave me alone. So I think in that respect, things are going well, but I do fear for like the bigger picture of them essentially leveraging all this technology to try to control people, especially with the passport and the wireless 5G stuff being like the backbone of that. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, you know, it seems pretty benign, but it's just like the first step into essentially technocratic enslavement. So that's why I've been really trying to fight the 5G stuff locally and just speak up about all of this, because I think that, like, if we go down that road, I mean, we could be in a place, you know, 5 years from now where it's like everybody's controlled by passports, and even though everybody now knows because they've gotten their 10th, 11th, 12th booster, these things are people, it's like the system's already in place, and like, you know, it's really hard to jump off the train at that point when it's moving that fast. Like we gotta nip it in the bud now. So am I faithful that will happen? Yes. And I think that we'll see it happen in parts, where we'll see certain parts of the world continue to descend into medical totalitarianism. Yeah. And then certain parts of the world will have an easier time or a better time or more luck or more success fighting to keep their freedoms. And the contrast between what's happening in these like totalitarian states versus like the free states, the contrast will be enough that people who are in the free areas, you know, will continue to fight for their freedom and work hard for it, and then people will continue to try to find ways to essentially flee the totalitarian states. Yeah. So I think, honestly, I think that's what's going to happen. I know that's like kind of a grim picture, but I think it's like we needed this to happen for people to realize like just how just how bad a lot of the existing systems were in our society. It's like when they're taken to the nth degree, and so we see, oh, they're bad now, they're horrible now, but they were still pretty bad when they weren't even that bad. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a thing. It's like, 20 years ago, it's like no one was talking about gay marriage, right? But then, like in the mid 2000s, people started talking about how, oh, it's bad and we got to stop it, And it's like we can't let it happen. We can't let the gay people get married. And then it was like there was such a push against it that people started saying, well, you know what? Like, what's the big deal? Like, let's let them do it, And so, like, it started as an anti gay marriage movement, but it was like people got pushed on so hard that they pushed back harder. And then 2015 rolled around, and in America, it's legalized. And I think we're seeing the same thing where it's like you got to wear a mask, you got to do everything the CDC and all the pharmaceutical companies say. You got to do it, or we're taking away your job, we're taking away your life, we're shutting down your. And people are like, whoa, hold the phone here, okay? Like, you gotta chill out. And then they realize that, like, wow, they're pushing it so hard. Well, let me just investigate why they're pushing it so hard.
Yeah.
And so that's waking up a lot of people. So I think it's like, even though it seems bad, I think like long term, we're going to go through some more darkness. But I think, on the other end, we could create a much better world. So so long answer to your question, I'm positive about it. But is it going to turn around, on January 1st, 2022? No, it's not.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how far it goes. I've just been so blown away by just the blatant lies that are told just out in the open. And, it just takes a tiny bit of looking into to see that a lot of things that they're saying on, coming out of government and what's on the news is completely false. It's like they don't even care that, it's just so blatant. It's kind of crazy. But the thing that maybe surprised me the most, and maybe it shouldn't have, but just I always used to think that the plant-based doctors, were really good at looking at the data and they knew how to like read studies. But this experience has kind of opened my eyes, whereas I've kind of just stopped following most plant-based doctors because I'm realizing that they've kind of reverted back into just parroting mainstream media and the status quo message. Has that surprised you at all?
Truth be told, somewhat, but also not.
Yeah.
I think that, you got to understand that a lot of these guys are people who, didn't even believe that like the plant-based diet was a thing until they got into, medicine and stumbled, for whatever reason came across it, usually like anecdotally, usually they had their own health issues or they saw patients get better with it. It wasn't like, well, I was diligently, objectively reading the research as I always do and critically thinking about everything, and I came across this information. I mean, they want to sell it to you that way, right? But like, no, it's like, obviously you don't.
Right.
And so, they like food is medicine, right? Like they say this, like food is medicine. It's like, no, okay, food is food. It's been around longer than your profession has, or your drugs have, or you have. You don't get to like take credit for that. Like they want to take credit for everything that works, and then if it doesn't work, oh, it's because all these people are having heart attacks now because of climate change and marijuana.
Yeah.
So, are there some good ones out there? Yeah, absolutely. But
yeah.
A lot of them, still fundamentally believe that the human body is a lemon and that they're the saviors and that they have to save everybody. And they want, they're in it not really for helping people, but more for like the notoriety and the status, unfortunately.
Right.
So no, it doesn't surprise me. Does it frustrate me to no end? Of course. A lot of people that I respected, I have signed copies of their books sitting on my bookshelf, and I'm like, well, the information in this is good, but I
Yeah.
don't really need to do anything else. So yeah, it's been upsetting.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of them, they're under a lot of duress from their colleagues who are like, it's like, you better group think with us or you're out of your job at the hospital.
Yeah.
Really have no way of like, they're still like basically cutting and drugging people to make money at their day job. And like, they can write a book about nutrition, talk about it, but it's really not how they make their income. So they're jeopardizing their entire livelihood by stepping up and speaking out. And so like, cognitive dissonance wise, they don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So what, kind of want to give people some solutions and just kind of help them out if they're feeling like, the world is ending. I guess first, let's start off with more the health side. What would you say if somebody, is dealing with any sort of health issues? What, you have like 3 tips on priorities that people should look at to start moving their health in the right direction?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like we can give some real trite information, and some of it sounds common sense, but it's like, I can tell you this stuff and you can go, oh, that makes sense, and then not go out and implement it and you won't get results, right?
Yeah.
But I would say, like, eat more fruits and vegetables and less junk food. Like, you should, like, it should be pretty obvious. Like, if it comes in a package, or it's, like, if it grows out of the ground or off of a tree, it's health food. If it doesn't, it's probably not. So just eat the health food and less of the other stuff. Ideally, completely cut out the junk altogether, but do the best you can. Find some sort of movement, exercise that you enjoy. I like the term fun gets done. So, if you liked playing basketball as a kid, get back and playing basketball. If working at a gym actually sounds fun to you, do that. But if it doesn't, don't do it.
Yeah.
So find some sort of means of moving your body. And then the third thing would be, get to bed earlier, wake up earlier, and don't, it's like, get your sleep, because that's going to be, it's going to help your physical health as well as your mental health. So if you're staying up late at night every night, like swiping on glowing rectangles, like pressing this and pressing that on these screens that we got, like your health's in for some trouble. So find something else to do, read a book, play an instrument, go for a walk, do something else before bed. So I think that's 3 things.
Yeah, right on. Cool. So what about if we shift over back to like the personal freedoms? I mean, do you have any tips on how people can, just kind of navigate their, whether it's family that, if they're kind of in line with our thinking, this person, and their family isn't, or they go to a store and, people give them a hard time. Do you have any tips on how to deal with those sorts of things?
I would just like say, have compassion for other people. Like, they're just doing what they think is right and what they've been brainwashed to believe. So you don't need to get too contentious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't wear a mask, but I'm super nice to everybody.
Yeah.
In places where people are masking a lot, and I just don't comply, but I don't do it, to be obnoxious about it. I just do it, and I think that there's, you see all these people, other people complying, and a lot of them are on the fence like you, and they're scared to speak up, and it's like,
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be this example where people will say, well, I believe what Dr. Ben says. It's like, I'm really just still some guy, so consider this a challenge that the universe is asking you to step up to, that like, you've got to be a leader. As much as you may not feel that you're ready, or why didn't they pick somebody else or whatever, it's like, this is the most trying time of our generation, of our lifetime. So it's like now's the time to step up, because it's now or never. So here's the challenge. Rise up to the occasion. We're all being asked to rise up, and there's days when I don't feel like doing it, right? But then I think about all those people out there that essentially are going to keep suffering if humanity doesn't collectively rise up. So I feel an obligation to do it, and I'm going to do it. And I think you should too. And even if you don't feel ready, like now's the time. You know, you're watching this video, like you're in the know about this stuff. You're being called to make the world a better place. And did I think it was going to be something absurd, like not wearing a face covering into the grocery store? No, I thought we'd always be like, there'd be some kind of like alien apocalypse where we'd be shooting monsters with laser guns, you know, but that's not how it went down. So here we are, do your part.
Yeah. Do you have certain places that you get your information from, or people that, or organizations that are putting out good content kind of regarding this sort of stuff? Is there any places that you would recommend people check out?
That's a good question. And I'll say first off, like, I get information from a bunch of sources, but I always dig deeper and vet past people's opinions on it.
Yeah.
I think there are very few places that are doing true journalism where they literally just give you the objective facts and no opinion on it, right?
Yeah.
So I will give you like my 3 most trusted sources, but I still vet what they say. Like I still go and dig deeper on it and check their sources, and they're not always 100% right on everything. But I would say Children's Health Defense, Bobby Kennedy's organization, the Informed Consent Action Network, it is the Highwire, Del Bigtree's organization. Again, heavily vet what they say, but still look into it. And then third, and this is more like in political current events, the one guy who I think out there is still a true journalist is Glenn Greenwald. He's got a real channel, a lot of good content on there.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, and one that I'll add for people that might be being coerced by their employer is Peggy Hall at the Healthy American. If you're trying to get an exemption to any sort of coercion tactics that are being employed on you. Yeah, those are all places that I also check out, so that you mentioned. So yeah, that's great. All right, cool. So what other, are you on other platforms other than Instagram? And
Instagram's the main one. I have been, like, I created a Telegram channel. I don't really use it. I created a Rumble channel. I don't really use it, but I feel like, you know, am I just going to talk on code and Instagram for the rest of my life? You know, like eventually, but yeah, I'm here for now. If we talked about my blueprint, if you download that, you get on my email list, and then you know, we can never lose content. And I really need to send out more emails. I think I've sent out 1 in the past month. I'd really like to do 1 a week. So if you join my email list, I definitely don't spam you. I try to put out quality content on there. You know, and so yeah, Instagram for now. I think with YouTube's new rules, I'm definitely not uploading anything to there. But I think I will continue to do Rumble. So I know you were saying you were going to like save this video and put it on YouTube or whatever. Like I can, if you send me the raw file, I can put it on there too. Hopefully we didn't upset the technocratic overlords, but if we did, so yeah, well,
we'll see. If anybody wants to sign up to my newsletter, it's on my website, myrawintuition.com as well. Definitely go sign up for Dr. Ben's. And yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything that I kind of had envisioned. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day and sharing your inspirational work with us, and just the you know, knowledge and wisdom that you've gathered over your healing journey and through your practice and all that. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me on. I'll have you back anytime.
All right, awesome. Sounds good. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for joining, and we will catch you next time. All right, take it easy.
Thanks, man.